Welcome to You Ought to Watch This Movie, the podcast about movies from the first decade of the 2000s, aka the aughts. Follow along and explore a movie from the aughts, getting unbridled opinions from two millennials. Sit back, relax, and enjoy one of the best decades in movies.
Welcome back to
Got 'em.
You Ought to Watch This Movie.
Where we watch movies from the aughts so you can follow along or not. It's really up to you.
And we should mention, I guess, because today we met somebody who I guess their significant other is a film critic or whatever. But we're not really film critics. We're just regular people watching movies.
Exactly.
And telling you our opinions.
We should have said that. That was funny.
I was glad you didn't at the appointment.
Why not?
Because this is silly. Like we don't know anything about being film critics. We're watching it. We say what we think.
Indeed, we do say a lot of things, whether or not they're right.
Well, our opinions are always right because they're opinions.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay.
So this week on Yadam, we are watching Remember the Titans. Do you remember that movie?
You know what I forgot to do?
Oh, no. What did you forget to do?
Which I will figure it out real quick.
Well, I'll keep talking, but you got to tell me what you forgot to do.
I forgot to look when it was released.
Well, it wasn't the day we watched it because the date I have on my page is 2/26/25. So it wasn't that day. It was well before that, probably around 25 years and a month ago.
Yes. So this movie premiered September 29th, 2000.
Yeah, all right. Okay.
And
Yeah.
if you haven't watched this movie and you would not like to hear spoilers, then
Visit your local Disney Plus movie rental store.
yeah, so weirdly enough, usually IMDb is very good at telling us
Where we can watch it.
where we can watch it, what streaming services it's on, but this time it said it was not on a streaming service at all. And so Miles said, why don't you just talk into the remote?
And sure enough, it was available on Disney Plus.
Yeah, so
Which it was odd because we have Cox Communication and their system Contour or whatever, I don't know. And whenever we asked it, it said, would you like to rent for $3.99 through Disney Plus? And I'm like, no, let's see if it's actually available. So we launched Disney Plus.
and it was in 4K. Is that correct?
Yes, they upscaled the movie, which is nice.
And this movie is only rated PG, not even PG-13.
Okay, well, I would not have guessed that. But I guess there's valuable lessons in it that, make up for, any of the violence or, stuff.
Yeah.
Which, just to clarify, there's not violence. It's like,
Not really.
yeah. So, what is the summary?
The summary, okay. Are we doing that before the trailer notes?
I don't know. What have we been doing?
We've been doing trailer first because we watched the trailer. We don't. Really
Okay.
know
All right. Okay. Well, my trailer summary is really quick.
Okay.
Donald Faison and Denzel Washington in a dramedy that has the Blind Side vibes. I'm sold.
That's good. This did remind me of The Blind Side. I guess because there's football involved, but the end reminded me of The Blind Side, like the montage.
Yeah.
This is where they are now,
Mhm.
like in 2000.
Yeah.
My trailer notes. There was no voiceover on the trailer we watched, but there was text instead.
Mm-hmm. And dialogue.
Yeah. Yes. I feel like this is an iconic 2000s movie. I've heard about it a lot over the years, but I've never seen it.
I remember the preview for Remember the Titans as a commercial back in like 2000.
Yeah.
So I remember seeing like this, and it was still formatted for a 1x1 screen, and so they had to adjust the, I guess, how the video was presented on the screen, because it was shot in 16:9, which is normal what you see in theaters, but back then we all had square TVs. Unless you were like Michael Scott and you had a plasma screen TV on your wall.
That was like a foot or something.
If that.
I also said about the trailer, this will probably be good because sports movies usually are. And this one seems more family friendly than a lot of them that we've seen.
It definitely seemed family friendly for the most part.
I don't get why sports movies, like, I never want to watch them because I don't like to watch sports.
It's not about the sport. It's about the story.
I know, but it's like I don't gravitate towards them. But every time I watch one, well, not every time because the Replacements was kind of but almost every time it's like, oh, this was a good movie.
Yeah.
Like a wholesome, feel-good movie a lot of times. Okay.
So, what is the summary?
In 1971, Virginia.
You've got to do it like the movie announcer. In 1971, Virginia.
I can't do that voice.
Just try it.
An all-white high school football team.
Okay, that works.
Is forced to integrate black players onto their team along with a black head coach. This is a snapshot of their story.
Okay, yeah. I really appreciate that they did cover the underlying strife about forced busing and forced integration, but I feel like it's not to say that there weren't neighborhoods that were upset about it.
Mm-hmm.
Is in small town Virginia, I just find it hard to believe that that large of a crowd shows up for that small of a protest.
Oh, yeah. Well,
but
it's a movie.
Yeah. Put on my suspenders of disbelief.
That we've stolen from the podcast Miles likes to make fun of.
Well, I mean, it's the first good thing that they've said.
And it wasn't even Michael. It was Ryan.
Yeah.
But
Someone who actually, cares about the quality of a podcast. But anyways, we digress.
Yeah, well, yeah. So the actors we know.
Oh, right. So what actors do we know of, Colin?
Well, the first one I put down was not a main character, but
I know who it was. It was Petey.
No.
Who was it?
I don't remember his name. Petey was Donald
Faison, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well, who was it then?
Ryan Gosling's
Oh,
character.
Ryan Gosling.
I don't know what his name was because he wasn't a major character.
Pretty boy.
I'm like, wow, just 4 years later, he was in The Notebook and he looks so much older in that movie.
He doesn't. He has a beard in that movie.
Well, part of it.
Yeah.
The other time he doesn't and he looks older.
I just think he's got
Maybe
a
it's
little
makeup.
more.
So yes, Ryan Gosling had a minor part in this. And Donald Faison. Oh, well, I guess we already said Ryan Gosling's from The Notebook. If you don't know him from The Notebook, I don't know what to tell you, but you you might know him from other things like La La Land or Barbie or
Maybe.
or some other things that I don't know.
Okay. Who else?
And Donald Faison is from Scrubs.
Yes.
Primarily.
Uh-huh.
And Hayden Panettiere. I tried to see. I know you know her from Heroes.
Oh my goodness! I just now had it click that was Hayden Panettiere.
Oh, well, I was like, what do I know her from? Because I knew her from Disney, but I guess I only know her from that Ice Princess movie that we just talked about because of Michelle Trachtenberg.
Yeah.
But
I just know her from Heroes and one other.
yeah, but I think she was in Nashville, that show, if you watch that.
mhm.
So,
I didn't watch it, but I remember
yeah.
hearing that she was on it.
So I know lots of people are going to know Denzel Washington. I don't really know him from anything. I just know he's a famous person
Yeah.
or a famous actor.
Yeah. I think if I had to choose one of the better movies, American Gangster.
That's probably not what other people are going to say.
He's been in so many
I-
great movies.
I know.
You know, and yeah.
He's more like from my parents' era or your parents' era or, an older generation, I think, than us.
Oh, maybe. I just I don't know. I've seen so many movies with Denzel. And thinking of actors is there's not many actors in which you immediately recognize by their first name. Denzel. Sugarloaf. Geez, maybe Galifianakis.
That's his last name.
I know, but by a singular name is what I mean.
Okay.
And because even people like Steve Carell, you have to say Steve Carell, and Steve Martin. No one knows you're talking about Steve Martin unless you say Steve Martin, or Martin Short. Rob Schneider, Adam Sandler. Denzel has I guess maybe it's the uniqueness of his name, but he's provided a power behind Denzel. Who's the? I can't remember the other name I was thinking of that is also powerful in and of himself. But I just thought that was interesting.
Yeah. So, what comments did you?
Well, my first comment, actually, good segue. Denzel is such a great actor in controversial roles. I really enjoyed his role in here, and the premise of through all of this strife, there's still something to be learned.
Yeah. I just liked his. Well, I didn't really like. I don't know. I didn't like how harsh he was sometimes, but when you saw the outcome,
It was worth, all
was-
of it. Yeah.
yeah, and I liked his just what's the word? No holds bar, maybe. No
Yeah.
holds bar,
Well, it reminds
or just like he wasn't gonna take anything from anybody.
is you remember, so they during the movie they took these football players to a 2-week camp near Gettysburg, and they woke them up at 3 a.m. to go on this multi-mile jog to Gettysburg, this where people are buried. And
Why are you saying?
well, because the comment was made by Coach Yost, who is the former head coach who got removed because of this forced desegregation
integration.
is the coach was forced to step down to an assistant role, and Denzel, as the coach, took over. And but he said to Denzel, this isn't the Marines. And I was thinking, that does seem like what happens with the Marine recruits. But is the only reason I brought that up is you said it's like his the end justified his means, and you always say, oh, they should be nicer to recruits whenever you saw the recruits. And I think the warfighter in me is like, well, the ends justify the means for how they're treated during boot camp.
Yeah, I guess, and they know what they're getting into, or they should have some idea.
Yep.
But I was gonna make fun of you for how you were saying Gettysburg, because you were saying Gettysburg, and it reminded me of that commercial with the guy from the 90s, like diabetes.
I got diabetes. Hi, friend. Do you have diabetes?
Well, that's not.
I have diabetes.
That's not what.
I know, but
But you
it's
know
all
that commercial.
diabetes. That's another individual who's recognizable by a singular name or identifier. The diabetes guy.
Diabetes.
Diabetes.
They always played it during The Price is Right.
I wonder why of all those geriatrics watching Bob Barker licking their lips saying, I'd take out my dentures for that Bob Barker. So, Colin is, taken aback by laughter, but we shall continue nonetheless. Ryan Gosling is hysterical in his role.
Really, what was hysterical? The music.
Just the music, his he acted as if Ken had wandered off as a younger version of him from the Barbie movie and landed in in Virginia, and just knew nothing else about football, or nothing other than football, rather.
Well, sadly, I feel like this character was smarter than Ken.
Yeah. They made him a non-playable character.
I think I know who should have played Ken
Who?
instead of Ryan Gosling.
Ryan Reynolds?
No.
Who?
Adam Levine
Oh, yeah. That would have been a great NPC.
with his blonde hair. I think he would have really played the part well.
I can agree with that, yeah. What other comments you got?
Okay, on this movie, not on other movies. I was really enjoying this so much that I didn't take a lot of notes because I didn't really have a lot to say.
Well, I
was
would use
just
that
enjoying
excuse,
it.
but I generally don't take that many notes.
Well, sometimes I take lots of notes. This is really short, but let's see. We already talked about how. Well, I liked how the coach got the team to
Work together.
work to get together and become friends
So,
in the end.
Am I saying Gettysburg wrong? Is
it
it
was
Gettysburg?
I thought it was
Or
Gettysburg.
can it be Gettysburg?
Well, probably.
Okay, well, I'm sorry. It's like I say orange and you say orange.
Yeah, I know.
Which just feels weird to me. But that's
But
okay.
you don't say R when you're using OR as a
Because it's
contraction.
like an oar that you use to, paddle a boat
Well,
with.
Orange starts with OR, so I don't see why we have to change it to
Okay,
R.
all right. Spell bear.
Don't do this to me.
Which one, right?
Yeah.
B-E-A-R and B-A-R-E. It's so confusing.
Okay.
Yeah, but there was a moment at that camp that they went to, in the middle of the night where they all, got together. I'm sorry. Was it at the camp or was it later on whenever they go into the gym and start, pumping each other up, after they've been fighting with each other?
I think that was when they got
Back.
from
Okay.
camp.
So that reminded me of boot camp the reason I'm saying this now is because after I got on with boot camp and learning about, okay, what is, the similar structure of, boot camp, and for all intents and purposes, them going to the camp was a boot camp. And, but in every boot camp class, there's generally a come to Jesus moment where, some of the recruits get up and tell their story, like, we need to work together. We need to do our best, which, I'm saying that, tongue in cheek, because it's good to build camaraderie. But I was like, oh man, this is their come to Jesus moment.
Well, I think because at the camp they were secluded, and then when they got back home, they were faced with reality again that.
Yeah, a racist girlfriend.
And
I have no part of that.
so they had to remind each other that they were a team, and
I really thought that who was the guy that they get kicked off of the offensive line that he removed?
from the team.
Yeah, that the captain removed.
Yeah, his name in the
Oh,
movie
yeah,
or
it
his
doesn't
name
matter.
in real life.
So there's a guy that they removed.
His name was Ray.
Ray. that they removed from the offensive line later on, and it was a captain. And for context, the captain and this guy were friends, and whenever the integration started occurring, they went up to Denzel's character saying, we'll pick our own guys. This is how we're going to run it. And, that guy, had a change of heart. And his friend who walked up there with him, he didn't have a change of heart. And so he was purposely he was missing blocks and purposely doing this. So he ended up getting kicked off the team. But I thought, and spoiler alert, at the end of the movie, like we're about 4/5 of the way through, maybe, 9/10, a car wreck happens and puts the team captain in a hospital, and he's paralyzed from the waist down. And just prior to this, the captain made the decision to get rid of Ray. And I thought to myself, I wonder if it's Ray in the truck that hit Gary or whatever his name is.
Oh. Huh.
Out of spite.
You're
kicking me off the team. You can't do this.
I didn't think of that. That's sad.
It would have been an intriguing angle, to say the least.
Yeah. Too dark, probably.
Yeah, definitely too dark.
I like these period movies, like, because they use music from
In old tech.
the time. And I really enjoyed the James Taylor song that they played during, like, after they won the
Oh yeah, the state championship.
no, oh, was it this, or was it?
Was it during the montage?
No,
Oh,
it was after they won, like, their last regular
the
game or
regionals
something,
where
the regionals.
they had essentially set up the game for them to lose.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
It was after a win, and they were playing, and the whole town was, like, so happy. Yeah, it was Fire and Rain. That's the song, and I looked it up. It's from 1970, so it was, like, correct time.
And was it that time, like the town celebrating, and then you see the person at the diner right on the chalkboard, Titans eat free, and then it switches over to the Titans eating there,
Yeah.
And like just tons and tons of food, and so it switches back, and she's erasing the free part.
Yeah. That was funny.
Yeah, get an entire football team in rural Virginia to eat free at a diner, and you'll quickly go broke.
And I said I liked the montage at the end where they said, because this was actually based on a true story.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It said, well, how they said where everybody ended up, and at the beginning of the movie, I really thought the funeral that they were at was
The real thing, yeah.
was her dad.
Which, by the way, they
coach.
really, really missed the mark on how Hayden Panettiere would look grown up. They really missed that mark.
Well, they couldn't tell.
I know, but it was funny nonetheless.
But apparently in a real life, Coach Yost had 4 daughters, and none of them actually lived with him after the divorce. But
I didn't know they got a divorce.
yeah, at the beginning, she said that her mom left because her dad worked too much. And
I'm sorry. Coach Yost.
Yost
All
and
right,
his
yeah.
wife.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay.
After they got a divorce, but they had 4 girls, but she was still, like, involved. She went to, like, all of the games and stuff. So, and she died before this movie came out.
Oh, that's
she was only
sad.
34. It was like of an undetected heart condition.
That's sad.
And so her sisters were fine with her being the only one, like, portrayed in the movie, and
Yeah.
it didn't really bother anyone. But anyway, I read that on IMDb, so again, take it with a grain of salt. It might not be true. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Probably lots of little inflations here and there.
Well, yes, and I'm sure, like, just because it says it's based on a true story, there's lots of things that aren't, that, that are exaggerated or didn't happen. But
Exactly. Like, that's not the house they lived in.
well, yeah.
Duh. So, what else do you got?
The only other thing I wrote down was I really like this movie.
Well, I think that brings us to an important part of our show where we grade the movie.
Yeah.
So, on a scale of A to F
And percentage.
and percentage, what do you, Colin, give this movie?
I gave it a 92.
A 92. Wow, high marks, huh? All right. Well, I will give it, and I'll give it a 91. But I was going to give it an 81
Why?
because that was the first number that popped in my head. But then I thought to myself, let's apply some logic here. Oh, there's 10 points that were missing because it was a good movie.
Yeah, I forgot to say before we sign off, I forgot to say that I really liked that one character, the overweight kid.
Yeah, he was really funny.
Yeah. I liked his comic relief, and I liked how he kind of just got along with everyone.
Oh, yeah. And he was like, I don't see color. Like, what are you talking about, mister? You don't see color. But man, that was such a excellent movie. But yeah, if you want to watch it again, it is found on Disney Plus. So if you need to get in the car, grab some gas, go to the store, grab some popcorn, and on your way home, swing by the nearest Disney Plus movie video rental store. You can get it at any time.
Or, of course, you can rent it somewhere else or buy it somewhere else if you don't have a Disney Plus subscription.
And only a DVD player.
That too, you could go buy a DVD.
Or a VHS, because I know they're out on VHS. Right? Nothing wrong with a good old VHS.
I don't know where you're going to find those, though.
What, VHS players?
No, VHS tapes. Like, where are you going to find them?
We've got VHS tapes.
Okay, you purchased those a long time ago. Where are people going to... Oh, you mean if they have the VHS?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant they could go buy it.
Because that'll take you back to the trailers that were during the time frame.
Yeah.
Might see previews for, like the Matrix Revolutions or something. I don't know. Well, other than that, you got anything else?
No, I'm good.
All right. Well, we will be back in 2 weeks. This is Miles and
Colin.
signing off for Yadam, episode numero 25.
Yeah.
I
haven't
think
been writing that down.
Given that
Yeah.
5 is her favorite number, 5 times
Pretty
5
sure it's
equals 25.
25.
And that was also our anniversary date of the month. I believe that I can say we think this is a perfect movie to lie on 25
Well,
for now.
it's a good one.
Yeah. Well, I'll see you later.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to You Ought to Watch This Movie, a podcast about movies from the first decade of the 2000s, aka the aughts. Be sure to subscribe for new episodes covering movies you ought to watch. We'll see you next time.